All right, good evening, guys. Thank you so much for being on the call here. Really glad about what I had to share or what we had to share tonight. I hope that the other coaches and everyone on this call will participate and just give your own input and experience and everything, because that's how we learn. So um, I applaud, everyone who's in this 7-day clean eating challenge group for what you're doing. It's we live in a society where health and fitness is almost kind of a joke. I know I see it every day, and you just look around at 2/3 of the population, and it's kind of a joke for them. And so you guys, you guys don't see it as a joke at all, and you see it as something that's very, very serious. And so I'm glad that you are all, taking your health and fitness into your own hands and doing something about it. So just wanted to start out by introducing our team and giving you guys some inspiration. I guess we'll start with myself. I'm here in the middle. My name is Stuart Forsher, and I've been a Beachbody coach for 4 years. I started out in 2010 doing P90X, and after a couple of failures, false starts, I was able to complete that program and get pretty decent results. But I definitely grew up as a victim of the processed food industry, which I think a lot of people are these days. And I was able, through my journey with Beachbody, and ended up meeting Tony Horton, and really was able to have an aha moment and just really turn my life around, turn my health and fitness around. Prior to getting started with P90X and Shakeology and clean eating, I actually had some anxiety problems and was on prescription anxiety medication, and was obviously overweight, very overweight. You can see my before picture there. I was actually borderline obese as far as the BMI goes. So I was not in very good shape at all. And I'm actually 40 years old right now. I haven't measured my body fat, but just my SOB is around 8%. So I'm doing pretty good. Really have been able to get control, and find something that's really sustainable for me. Up in the upper left, we have James here, and getting a little bit of background noise. I'm just going to mute everybody. I want you to feel free to unmute yourself at any time and ask questions. I want this to be interactive, so please, anytime you have a question, just ask. Okay. So we have Jamie here in the upper left. Jamie actually started in this 7-day clean eating challenge back in, I want to say it was May of 2013. And at that time, it was actually a 30-day challenge, but it's a similar idea. And obviously, a picture is worth 1,000 words. She's lost around 65 pounds. And she started out at 217 pounds, I want to say. So she's doing absolutely amazing. We have Christine Dragos over here, who has lost 100 pounds, and she had a similar journey as I did. She actually started out kind of on her own doing, I don't know if she started with P90X or Insanity, but she kind of was doing things on her own and ended up getting in touch with the coach community and becoming a coach herself. And obviously, again, picture's worth 1,000 words. Then in the bottom left, we have Maybelle Dawson, who is one of the new members of our team, but she started out in January of 2014. She's lost 26 pounds here in about 6 months, and just completely has transformed her body through what we're going to talk about. We have Deanna Kozak. Again, she started in January 2014, started as a coach, and had recently, I think, had her baby about 4 months prior. And this is actually only a 15-pound weight loss here, but as you can see, it's really not about the scale with a lot of these transformations. It's about really the body composition difference. And I know she's lost about another 8 or 10 pounds since then. So she's doing great. Then we have Carrie Russell, who again started out in this group and basically did a complete 180. Last I heard, she had lost 50 pounds and just is doing an outstanding job. Very inspirational, and so happy to have her on the team and just be part of this family. Then one of our newest coaches is Maureen Johnston. She did the 21-day fix. These are her results here. She lost 9 pounds in 21 days. And since then, once again, she's lost about another 10 pounds or so. She's in her late 40s. Actually, myself, Maybell, and Carrie and Maureen are all over 40. So age is certainly not a factor for us. So, what we're trying to do here with Team Get Super Fit is we're trying to inspire you to lead a more healthy and fulfilling life. And, we just invite you to be a part of our community. That's really what we're trying to do, is create a community here, create a movement around health and fitness. And we invite, anyone who is, this is up their alley, and this is really going to work for them to join us. So see if I can go to the next slide here. And coaches, if you have anything to add, please do. I want to say this is just a sampling of some of our transformations on our team. We have many more. We just couldn't fit them all here. So, and by the way, if anyone else here has an updated transformation, send it to me, because I love to collect these and showcase our team. So I just wanted to talk about, what is clean eating? Let's see here. Because it's really there's a loose definition of it, and actually there's really no definition of it. So I'll just kind of give you my take on it, and I did some Googling and found this, and I think it's pretty good. But it's really, it boils down to kind of like eating the way our great-grandparents ate. It's really simple foods, and foods that are not, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? Not tainted, but they're not processed, they're not compromised, whatever you want to call it. I mean, it's just pretty basic stuff. And, there's all sorts of diets out there like paleo and, vegan, and those might have their merits. But, with my definition of clean eating, we're not eliminating any particular food groups or anything. We're just trying to stick to the basics. So, at the bottom is water. I'm going to talk a little bit about that more, but it's just, to me, it's just sipping water throughout the day. Water is so important for all your bodily functions, and you should just be drinking water all the time, just to flush your system out and keep your system going. My wife makes fun of me because I use the bathroom I have to use the bathroom like once an hour at least. So she makes fun of me, but that's okay. And so at the bottom, we have water as our foundation, but then we have fruits and vegetables. And it easily could have been vegetables down here at the bottom and then fruits. It's really, pretty good balance, I would say. And you have your green vegetables, which are just so key. And I think it's something that's missing from the majority of the Americans' diets, probably next to no. I try to make sure my kids eat at least one green vegetable every day. Whether it's cucumber slices or steamed broccoli. Tonight we had steamed green beans. I try to make sure they have some kind of green vegetable every single day. And then you got your colored vegetables like your carrots, root vegetables, and cabbage and peppers and stuff like that. Fruits are really great. The good thing about fruits is they have a lot of fiber. And so even though they're high in sugar, some people get really scared about sugar. They have the fiber there to balance it out, and there's so many health benefits to fruit. And then as you go up here, you have your grains, which are you want to go with healthy grains like oatmeal, brown rice, beans. I should say fiber. Bean is not a grain, but I like things like quinoa and things like that. Sprouted grains that I'll talk about. Then you have your proteins over here, which not so sure about milk, but wild caught fish is good. Yogurt, eggs. What other kinds of proteins? I mean, there's beans are actually a decent source of protein. What else? I'm really into tempeh. Sorry, I know a lot of people give me a hard time about that, but tempeh is a great source of protein. For those of you who don't know, tempeh is a fermented soybean that's really, really healthy. Fermented foods actually have a lot of health benefits in and of themselves, but that's a whole nother discussion. And then at the top, you have your healthy fats, like avocado, hummus. I'm not sure what those are, but nuts like almonds, seeds, sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds, chia seeds. And then you have certain oils like coconut oil is really, really great. And, fat is one of those things that fat does not make you fat. In case you haven't heard, this is one of those things that I did not know, but fat is actually very good for you and just has to be the right kind of fats. And I personally don't have a problem with grass-fed beef either. Some people really have a hard time with red meat, and they say it's bad for you and causes cancer and all that stuff. But I personally think that grass-fed beef is actually, a good source of nutrition and fat. So that's just my opinion.
Yeah, a little bit on that. We actually just bought 10 pounds of grass-fed beef from our CSA. So I just picked it up today. So I'll tell you how it is.
Yeah, definitely. I ate vegan for a while, and now I'm back to, eating some animal protein. And I don't know, I just think my body does better with a little bit of animal protein. I think it probably depends on the person. So another aspect of this clean eating is going for more organic stuff. And, when I talk about our great grandparents, I think that's pretty much all they ate was organic. There was no conventional stuff. It was all organic. So it's kind of implied when I say eat the way our grandparents ate. And I get it. I understand that organic is more expensive and all that kind of stuff. There's ways around that, and there's certain foods that are more important to eat organic than others. And I encourage you can check out the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 15. You can Google that and find out, which are the ones that are more important to buy organic, and which ones aren't as important. So I think especially, I always try to buy my eggs and my yogurt and things like that organic. So just to avoid the GMOs, which I'm not sure if I'm going to have time to get into GMOs here, but if you haven't heard about GMOs, you can look them up. They're not a good thing. So it stands for genetically modified organisms, and it's the way that food companies have manipulated the genes in certain foods. So just leave it at that. I think there's not much good that can come out of it. So, and feel free, please ask any questions anytime and interrupt me. So wanted to just show you what is not clean eating. And this is what you'll see a lot of people eating. I found this online today, and I was like, yeah, this is probably a pretty good example. I'm not sure if you would, I don't buy this kind of stuff anymore, so I don't even look at the labels like this. But this looks pretty bad. Like, even when I used to buy stuff, I'm not sure if it was this bad, but I could be wrong. But just, certain things I wanted to point out here, like sugar. Believe it or not, like, you really don't need to buy something that has sugar on the label. I firmly believe that. The only thing that I buy now that has sugar on it is Larabars, and I only eat like 1 or 2 of those a week, like on the weekends, just when I'm running around and stuff like that, and it's just quick and easy. Other than that, I really can't think of anything that I buy for myself that has sugar in it. I still do buy some stuff for the kids that has sugar in it, and I try to go more organic with that. But just to let you know, soybean and palm oils, just anything that with soy. I mentioned tempeh earlier. This is totally different than that. This is processed soy that is really, really bad. High fructose corn syrup, that's a big one. It's a sugar substitute. You may not know that it's in all sodas. I should say most sodas. They don't have sugar in them. They have high fructose corn syrup, which is like a cheaper way of creating a sweetener that tastes like sugar. It's just bad. All these things, some people will say like clean eating is a myth and it doesn't matter, and like it just matters your macronutrients. how many carbs, protein, and fat you eat. But I disagree with that. I think that when you eat this stuff, it has an effect on your body, and your body doesn't recognize it, and bad things happen. Modified cornstarch. Corn is largely GMO, so anything that you buy that has corn in it, I would try to get the organic version. Hydrogenated. This is a big one. So I was reading, Dr. Mercola's book recently. If you guys haven't checked out Dr. Mercola, it's mercola.com, Mercola. It has an amazing website and an amazing Facebook page with lots of great information. But he was talking about in his book how heart disease did not exist prior to like 1920s. And then all of a sudden, when these hydrogenated oils were invented, heart disease was invented. And he was talking about how the hydrogenated vegetable oils are basically chemically processed oil where it gets in your body and basically clogs your arteries. And so it's not like butter and lard and, red meat and all these things that you think are, really bad for you. It's actually the hydrogenated oils that are the problem, from what he's saying. Soy lecithin is another one that you'll see. You'll see that in a lot of protein shakes. You'll see that in a lot of stuff. It's just like it's a binder that just kind of holds the food together and keeps it from falling apart. But it's kind of the leftovers of the soy after it's processed. So it's no muy bueno. Definitely stay away from that. I will say there are a couple products that have soy lecithin in it that are organic, like Kind bars. I do buy those for my kids, and I don't really have a problem with the like organic soy on a limited basis. And the other thing to look out for is like anytime you see like yellow, red, blue, things like that. This one has multiple yellows. I was like, holy crap, really? And there's like yellow number 5 lake, and then there's yellow number 5 just plain. I don't really know what the difference is. Anytime you see colors like that, it's artificial colors, and I don't see how that can be good for you. So, all right. Any questions, please feel free to stop me. So I'm going to transition to, does willpower work? I hear a lot of people say, I'm just going to work out and eat healthy. A lot of people that approach me from a Beachbody perspective, offer them what we have to offer and, tell them how it's going to work for them and, why I think it will solve their problems. And they say, oh, well, I'm just going to work out and eat healthy. And I think that probably works for a very, very small percentage of the population, but not for most people. So willpower is going to lose every time against processed foods and lack of a precise plan. Sugar that I mentioned before is very addictive. You can do some research on it. It actually has a chemical effect on the brain, and there's no willpower that you're going to be able to exercise to combat that. There's just not. Another thing that actually didn't show up on here, I can't believe, I don't think it's on here, is MSG, monosodium glutamate. That's another thing that's very addictive. It's in a lot of fast food and chips and anything that's kind of spicy, like spicy Doritos and things like that. So willpower is not going to work against MSG either. So what does work? And this is what, people who you saw on the first slide have used. First of all, a strong why. That's what we talked about today. Why are you doing this? Why do you want to make this change in your life? Priority. How high on the priority list is your health and fitness journey? Is it, when you get up in the morning, is it one of the first things that you think about? It is for me. So I think it's a huge thing. Another thing about priority is I've been talking to a lot of people lately who say, well, my monthly grocery bill, my monthly grocery budget, food budget for my family of 4 is $125. And I'm just going, that ain't going to work, So priority, like where is your priority? Like where are you going to, put your resources and your time and effort and money? Knowledge really works. I have a feeling like if you weren't familiar with the previous slide of all those artificial colors and things like that, you might check the labels next time. And so you're armed with knowledge and, maybe you do a little bit more research and find out what those artificial colors actually do. And then so it'll be a really easy decision not to buy that stuff. Plans, what are your plans? When you have a plan in place and you're driving around in your car with a cooler, with some healthy food there or whatever preparation planning, you're gonna be able to be successful. Goals. What are your goals? Make them very precise. What body fat percentage do you want? What weight do you want? Anything that you want to achieve with your body, you can achieve. Motivation, support, and accountability. This is where, well, I'm just going to go work out and eat healthy. Kind of breaks down. I mean, I think we all need people. Most people need, we're not loners, some people are, but I think most people, they need each other. They need people. They need like-minded people. They need others to, support them on their journey. And I know I certainly have. And as I said at the beginning, we have a great community here, and we're trying to build this movement, and so we have a great system here for that. Tools, okay, so like if you're going into a fight, would you rather use your bare fists, or would you rather have a sword or a gun? It really helps to have tools. Like you can use gravity, and like you can walk, and you can do push-ups, and like you can come up with your own meal plan. But it certainly is nice to have like some tools to use to just kind of help you along the way. And so you're not trying to like build a house with just like a hammer and a screwdriver or something. Like you have some tools at your disposal. A good macronutrient ratio. I think this is a good thing to note. Some people say, well, I eat clean, but I'm just not like losing any weight. I don't know what the deal is. And so I say, well, send me your food list. Like, what are you eating? And, the thing is, like, you heard, like, we grew up with this, well, you should eat a balanced diet. And I think that's what the food pyramid, the old style food pyramid, was sort of trying to do, was making sure we had some kind of balance. Like, you need carbs to survive, right? You need protein to survive, and you need fat to survive. Like, you need those three. You can't eliminate one of them. So then what ratio of those should you be eating? So, like a one that we kind of follow is 40-30-30. People might argue that that's not perfect and whatever, but it's probably not. But 40% carbs, 30% fat, and 30% protein. It's working great for me, and I know it's working great for many others on the team. By the way, how do you do that? How do you determine that macronutrient ratio? The 21-day fix will do it for you. And the 21-day fix is a meal plan that you can just continue using forever. And I'm not trying to sell you anything here. I just want to tell you that's a tool. I tried tracking my macros long before the 21-day fix came out, and it was hard as hell. It was really difficult to do that and to try to come up with that on my own without the containers and having that plan laid out for me. What else works? Enough micronutrients. So, sometimes I go out to eat, and, I'm ordering my healthy stuff, and then whoever's with me, they're like having all like refined carbs or whatever. And it's like, they're not giving their body what it needs. Micronutrients are, vitamins and minerals and phytonutrients and things like that are, it's the nutrients in the food, which don't really come from processed food at all. It comes from what we saw on that clean eating slide with the leafy greens and fruits and fats and all that stuff. So it's very important to keep track of your micronutrients, and that's where supplements can come in handy as well, because are you able to get all the micronutrients that you need through your diet? Well, maybe, but can you get all the micronutrients for optimal health? Probably not. So I think it might be worthwhile just to have a decent supplement plan, just as that insurance policy. So, and we can certainly recommend some that are working great for us. The right type of exercise it's last on the list because I think it's the least important. I think nutrition and motivation and goals and all that stuff is more important than the exercise. Really, the exercise is just about moving your body and doing something, getting active. That's at the very least. I mean, if you really want to be super fit, like if you want to be on Team Get Super Fit, you want to have a great exercise plan, but really it's the lowest on the priority sheet. So, but I do want to talk about exercise. So here's my thoughts on just some workout tips. It's all about quality and not quantity. Actually, let me go back to previous slide. Does anyone have anything they want to add, any of the coaches or anything? While I take a sip of water. See, I told you. All right. So, all right, about exercise. Quality, not quantity. Now, I have people like, oh, I worked out 3 times today, and I really don't think it's about that. I think it's about, and the latest research shows 30 minutes per day is fine. 30 minutes of focused exercise. You know, you see people in the gym checking their iPhones and, you know, checking their music and chatting and all this stuff. And it's like, when I'm in the gym, I want to get it done. I want the most efficient workout I can get in 30 minutes. I don't have a lot of time to mess around. So, and ideally, you need a mix of strength training, cardio, flexibility, and balance. So people say, well, you know, I walk an hour a day and, you know, I run and this and that. And the problem is they're missing a lot of these aspects and they're not getting the results that that they would get. When you do all these things, you're going to boost your metabolism, which is really the whole point of all of this, is to boost your metabolism and turn your body into a fat burning machine. So you got to do strength training. You know, I don't care how old you are. You really need to do it. It's going to prevent, as you get older, as you get over 40 like myself, your muscles start to deteriorate, or you start to lose muscle mass. So that's where strength training becomes even more important. So it may be kind of counterintuitive to see, you know, a 40-year-old dude lifting weights, but really it's actually more important for 40 and 50 and 60-year-olds to lift weights than it is for the younger folks. It also helps with your bone density, so people don't think about that. Cardio is, of course, it's important. You know, flexibility and range of motion is actually very important. You know, just to prevent injury and just to help you with your range of motion as you get older, so you don't, you know, get all old and crotchety to where you hardly move. And then balance, I think, is a key component as well. That you know, just again, so as you get older, to have good balance. You know, I mean, I want to be like Tony Horton when I'm his age. Good Lord, the guy looked like he's 25, and that's what he does. He does all of that stuff, you know, and he hits it hard for I don't know how long. Maybe he does an hour a day. I don't know, but I can tell you that he hits it hard when he's working out and he doesn't mess around. And I think when you do strength training, you know, a lot of people like to do upper body because they can see the muscles and, you know, it's glamorous and all that. But really, there's certain movements that I think you should include. Like, you want to make sure you work your lower body. Like your legs are really your biggest muscles in your body, and it's the key to, you know, boosting your metabolism is working those legs. So squats and lunges are hugely important. Any workout program that you do should have lots of squats and lots of lunges. Push-ups and planks, those are basic movements that work your entire body. Pull exercises. So a lot of people, then I see them doing, you know, bench presses and stuff, but they don't ever pull anything. And it's like, come on, dude, like you got to work that back side, you know, your back as well. Like it's your whole body. And then core is hugely important. So you got to do some kind of core exercise, whether it's sit-ups or twists or, you know, whatever, leg lifts. And then steady state cardio is inefficient. So going for that 30-minute run on the treadmill, it's okay, but it's not optimal. You would be better off if you're going to do 30 minutes, which most people that I know are short on time, so they don't have time for a 30-minute cardio and then another 30-minute weight training. You can actually do cardio and weights at the same time, basically do circuit training, and you know, or you can do cardio with weights. You know, there's some workouts you can do where you're actually, you know, like jogging in place while, you know, holding a medicine ball and things like that. So any questions or anything about workouts? By the way, Beachbody workouts give you all these. So it takes out all the guesswork. Once again, I'm not trying to sell you on anything. I'm just telling you, you can figure out all this on your own, or you can, you know, hire a trainer, or you can pop in a DVD. So All right, so nutrition tips. So basically what I wanted to do here is I went through our old 30-day group, and obviously in 7 days we don't have time to cover 30 days worth of material. So I pulled out some of the highlights of that and just wanted to cover. So first thing is about hydration. The guideline is half of your body weight in ounces per day. No, I wouldn't get hung up on that. Just sip water and don't get caught up on it. Don't try to keep track of it or anything. It'll work. You'll work it out. I mean, what I noticed was when I got into the habit of drinking water, I just kept, like, my body just wanted more of it. And so I just kept drinking it. And gosh, it's probably been 20 years since I started drinking water all day long. So, and then the type of water, I would say it's a whole nother discussion as to, types of water and stuff, but filtered is good. I wouldn't drink tap water, and I would try to avoid bottled water. I used to buy bottled water, but I don't buy it anymore. There's some issues with it. So, if I'm at a party or something and they have bottled water, I'll drink it. That's fine. I'm not saying avoid it all together, but just, use filtered instead. You can get a filter for your faucet, or I think the filter on your refrigerator would be fine too if you have one of those. Just something that filters out like the chlorine and the fluoride. And watch out for the three-headed monster: wheat, corn, and soy. So you probably saw all of those on the first slide or second slide. Anything with those ingredients, I try to go organic, because the three of them have issues, and those are the three cheapest ingredients that the food companies all use in their processed foods. So, okay, clean eating. So I talked about hydrogenated. I talked about HFCS, and by the way, it's in regular sodas, sauces, salad dressings, breads, snacks. You'll be surprised what you would see that in. Now, you'll see some foods it'll say no HFCS on the front. They've started doing that. So that's good. A lot of those have other things, but it's good if they say that. Chances are, if they have to say that, though, I don't know. Because, one of the reasons for shopping at Whole Foods and Trader Joe's and places like that is they don't allow these things in the first place. So, you wouldn't see a product in Whole Foods that said no HFCS, because it's already assumed when you walk in the door. So that's why I say if they have to say that on the front, I don't know. It's probably not clean. Artificial colors I mentioned, natural and artificial flavors, iffy. Preservatives I would try to avoid. RBGH, which is in the non-organic dairy. I mentioned I try to get my yogurt organic, and so that's one of the reasons. Plastic residues, MSG I mentioned, and there's a lot of aliases for MSG, like hydrolyzed vegetable protein. There's a whole list of aliases. You can check it out. But yeah, I would say the word hydrolyzed is probably a bad sign. And a lot of fast food has MSG. If you dig, I was digging on Chick-fil-A's website, and I was able to find that their breaded chicken has MSG. So I was very disappointed about that, and that's when I stopped taking my kids there. So, and then artificial sweeteners, I forgot to mention that, but that's a whole topic that could take an hour of its own. What you want to look out for is aspartame, sucralose. What are some of the others? Oh, goodness. Gosh, I can't remember. But those are the main two. What's the other? The other one, I'm trying to remember it because it doesn't sound like an artificial sweetener, but it is. I can't think of it. But anyway, if you stick with the principles that we're talking about, you're going to avoid those artificial sweeteners anyway. I guess if you go into the file section of the group of the 7-Day Clean Eating Challenge, you'll see acceptable or good sugar substitutes. And so in case you were wondering if any of those are artificial sweeteners, they're not. So I guess it would be a good idea to print that out if you really are trying to avoid these things. And gum, can you believe we give our kids gum, right? So that actually has aspartame in it, which is worse for kids than it is for adults. So by the way, Flintstones vitamins has aspartame in it. Really? So this is what we're up against, guys. All right, more nutrition tips. So these are some packaged foods. So just because it's in a package doesn't mean that it's bad. Like there are some good ones. You have to be careful. So I mentioned Larabar. Vitacost.com is one of my favorite websites to shop. You can get groceries for, I don't know about if you pay tax on your groceries. I do here in Georgia, but when I shop on Vitacost.com, there's no tax. So that's pretty cool. Free shipping over $49. If you're interested, I can give you a $10 off coupon. They have like a referral program where you get $10 off when somebody else buys, and then you can pass that on to somebody else and somebody else. So it's like a referral program. It's really cool. So Larabar is really awesome, and some other bars here. Shakeology, of course. I don't know if I'll have time to talk about that, but it's amazing. All the coaches on this call use it. Really helps us out. I talked about tools. Shakeology is a tool that will curb cravings, and when you curb cravings, man, it's really, willpower is not necessary, right? Because really, when you have willpower, you're trying to fight cravings. You're trying to not do something that you want to do, and that's tough. Mary's Gone Crackers is my favorite. I eat those every single day. It's like a seed and seed cracker, basically. And I think it's a great carbohydrate, choice. Hummus, I really love. Annie's Cheddar Bunnies are really great for the kids. I stopped buying Goldfish and Cheez-Its, and I buy them Annie's Cheddar Bunnies. Food that should taste good. Food should taste good. That's the name of the company. They make awesome chips and stuff. Zevia I'm really big on Zevia. We buy that. We actually are on an auto ship from Amazon.com. My kids drink it all the time. I have no problem with that. It's actually good for you. Like stevia actually has some health benefits to it. So they're actually getting some health benefits by drinking soda. How cool is that? And then things like Garden of Eden taco kit that you can make your grass-fed beef tacos with. You can make vegan tacos. So there's tons of good stuff out there. Just go out and explore and see what you can find. This is just a small sampling. All right, I just wanted to highlight healthy carbs because carbs are such a huge thing, in our society, and like everything is carbs. Like, just go to a restaurant and see what people are eating. It's like all carbs and maybe some meat in there. So conventional refined carbs are very high glycemic, processed, GMO, and just plain bad. So, instead of white bread, go for sprouted grain bread or gluten-free bread. Just like we have in the meal plan, we talk about Ezekiel bread. It's really amazing. Love the taste. That's what I have for breakfast every morning is a Ezekiel muffin. And then instead of white pasta, go for organic brown rice pasta or sprouted grain pasta. I usually do the organic brown rice pasta. You can get it on Vitacost.com. It's not that expensive. Actually, Trader Joe's has it cheaper though. If you have access to a Trader Joe's. So instead of white flour, you can go with brown rice flour. You can go organic whole wheat flour. You can do almond flour. I don't use flour that much because I don't bake, but if you're into baking, you can do that. I mentioned Mary's Gone Crackers, and sweet potatoes are awesome. Potatoes aren't bad. Every so often I'll have a white potato. I don't know if I'm at a restaurant or something, but sweet potatoes are a far superior choice. One thing that people really ignore when it comes to their nutrition is cleansing and fasting. There's actually some real, health benefits to that. And it's not just about losing weight, it's just giving your body a break and, kind of resetting your hormones and just trying to cleanse out your body. And there's many, many different ways that you can cleanse and fast. And I encourage you to explore that and just do it periodically, get into the habit of doing it. And, your coach can certainly help you with that. I just want to talk about some dining out tips because somebody asked in the group about it. I don't have a lot of dining out tips, but first and foremost, no fast food. Really can't think of any fast food place that I would really eat. Maybe if I went to Subway and just got a salad with some vinegar dressing, probably not any oil, but just vinegar. That's about all I can think of. I do like Moe's and Chipotle. I think those are two great. I don't really consider those fast food, but those are my two go-tos when it comes to eating out, just kind of in a quick way. And as far as dining out goes, eat similar to how you would eat at home. And that's what I do. Like, I know I have a plan of how I'm going to eat throughout the day. And my plan is based on the 21-day fix. And so I know for, breakfast, I'm going to have this many. Okay, so it's based on what I talked about before, macronutrient ratios, right? So I know for breakfast, I'm going to have this many carbs. Basically, for breakfast, I do carbs and some fats. And then for lunch, I do my veggies and some protein and some more fats. And then for dinner, I do, more. Then I have my Shakeology, which gives me the protein, counts as a protein portion. And then for dinner, I do basically all three. I do protein, fat, and carbs. And so when I go out to eat, I kind of like do the same thing. I'm like, well, do they have broccoli? Do they have grilled chicken? Do they have, what kind of healthy carb can I find here? Do they have, sweet potatoes? I know a lot of restaurants don't have sweet potatoes, which blows my mind. But, if they have like, I don't know, maybe I'll just skip the carb then and I'll just have something when I get home. I'll have some Mary's Gone crackers or something. I just make it work. And I certainly do not throw all this out the window when I go out to eat. And it's like, oh, I'm just going to have like pizza. And like, I don't buy that. Like, if we go to a restaurant and they happen to have some healthy pizza by chance, I would probably eat it, but I've never been in such a place. So, if it's fairly clean, I'll eat it, but otherwise I'll just go for like the healthiest thing I can find on the menu that sort of kind of aligns with my plan for the day. I'll just give you an example. I went to Olive Garden recently, and I was there we went for my dad's birthday, and I just looked at the menu, and they had this kale and bean soup, and I was like, wow, that looks pretty good. Like, I can't believe they actually have, like, Olive Garden has kale. Like, this is awesome. So I ordered it, and it was phenomenal. Like everybody else had their huge thing of carbs, and it was just like, really? But it was great. I loved it. And they looked at my plate and they were like, wow, that looks really good. I was like, yeah, it is. So that's what I do. I try to find something healthy. Sometimes it's hard, but and then the other thing is drink your Shakeology. I don't know, probably other coaches have done this who are on the call, but I've several times just had my Shakeology, like an hour before it was time to go out to eat. And that's an easy way to like remove willpower from the equation. So you can just go there and you're just like not starving. You're just like, yeah, I'm cool. Whatever. I'll get a salad. I'll be fine. So it really works great as a tool. As I was mentioning earlier, tools. It's a great tool for you to use. And same thing before you go into a party. I made a post on my Facebook recently. Never assume that when you go somewhere to an event that there's going to be anything healthy available, because I've made that mistake a few times, and assume it's going to be all crap. I hate to say that, but just assume that. And so, have your Shakeology before you go, and take some snacks with you to in the car or whatever. But that's the way it is. So, and that was about all I had. So, questions. What questions do you have? I hope you guys found that informative and inspiring and learned something. So, any questions or comments? There's no such thing as a dumb question, so please feel free. I'm going to unmute everyone.
Lauren, you're going to spill it. Come on.
Uh-oh.
A quick thing for
So what do you guys think?
This is Melissa. Can you hear me?
Yes.
When you were talking about the high fructose corn syrup, I started looking at that, and a lot of those products that say that on the label, they don't have it. They have other forms of corn syrup in it, though. They have some other sugar that they're substituting, but they're taking off the high fructose because it's the buzzword right now.
Okay.
A lot of things maybe not your kids, but I would buy for my kids. I was starting to find that.
Yeah, that's good. That's a great point, and that's what I was kind of thinking. Like, I really haven't looked at those products just because I don't really like shop in those aisles anyway. I go to Whole Foods, like I said, they wouldn't have it. And then the other place I shop is Kroger, and they have a separate health food section where you wouldn't see a product there that says, no high fructose corn syrup, because those products don't even make that anyway. They don't have a HFCS version. And that's a great point, and I'm glad you brought that up, because what these food companies tend to do is they'll just basically kind of like try to pull the wool over your eyes, and it's sad, but that's the way it is. So I do want to give props to one food company, and that's Smart Balance. I noticed that Smart Balance recently came out with a non-GMO product line, and I really have to tip my hat to them, because I was actually quite shocked about it. So that was pretty cool. I actually bought a non-GMO when we were in Florida. I bought a non-GMO Smart Balance container of peanut butter, and I looked at the label and it said ingredients, peanuts. I was like, yeah, this is awesome. I didn't have anything else, so that was good. So I mean, there are some steps, I guess, being taken in a positive direction. So any other questions or comments?
My thing has been that it's not easy. Like, I've had to replace certain things a little bit at a time, and it's not anything that I've been able to do overnight. And I'm still working on the kitchen and still working on what I'm buying and still studying everything. So it's a process in itself to get yourself into this balance of clean eating.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. I mean, this is information that I've learned over, 2, 3, 4 years. And so I'm just dumping it all on you right now, because this is a 7-day group. And, and so I'm trying to help you shortcut that process a little bit,
Right.
But it's still probably going to take some time. So appreciate that.
I'm glad you talked about the willpower, because I always feel like I've always felt like I could do it myself, and I very sugar addicted, and I don't know, I just get the cravings and just break down, and it was just interesting. I like the points you made about other ways to stick to it, so I appreciate that.
Thank you for saying that. Yeah, I mean, it's not your fault, basically. It's not your fault. It's been kind of out of your control from that perspective. And the willpower doesn't work thing is kind of something I came up with recently. I don't know how I came up with it. I guess as we've been talking more, it really probably comes from Shakeology, because I really think that Shakeology helps you remove that willpower from the equation. And so I've kind of been using that as a phrase, but really it applies to the whole thing, because just sticking to your workouts and everything. I think it's a great idea to just eliminate willpower. I mean, I think you have to have some amount of willpower to get started and to get the ball rolling, and that's where, as I mentioned before, some of those points, like your why and your goals, I think you got to have some willpower to come up with those. But after you do that, then I think you have to eliminate the willpower. So awesome.
Thanks.
Good stuff. Any other questions or comments? Well, thank you guys so much for being on here. And I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording now. So if you're watching the recording, thank you for watching.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, I stopped recording. So we can go crazy now. No, but thank you guys for being on. I really appreciate it. And I'm going to post this in the group, and I hope some people watch it and, that it helps them as well. So.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks.
You guys have a great night. Thanks for being on.
You too.
All right. Talk to you soon. Good night.
Good night.
Night.